Welcome to Soltron. Today I'm going to do the video review of this custom Valkyrie Jetfire that I made. So you can see I made him with the Thrilling 30 Jetfire. So I did a lot to this already. I carved down his wings. He has these two tail fins which are on ball joints, and then of course I cut off the wings on the side. Also his chest is integrated into the jet itself. So you can see how he looks in 360, and I think he looks pretty excellent. And then of course, looking at his underside, he doesn't look so hot down here, but he kind of passes. If his arms were more streamlined, this would actually work pretty nicely. From the side, not too bad. You can see a huge gap right there, but that's about the best I could do with a figure that's not meant to do this. So pretty good there, right? And then I haven't implemented his fast pack yet, but that would basically just sit on top here. I think that would look good. Like in somewhere in this position, something like that. And here he is with all his other little weapons attached, and then you just would throw this piece on top, and I think that would finish his look. Actually, I think I would do it. I'd fold these down too, and then sweep the wings back, and then put that on top, and I think that looks pretty convincing for the most part. So I think that would be a really great look. But yeah, so I think I'm very pleased with how this jet mode came out. I was really surprised that it actually worked out this nicely. And here's how he looks from the top, and I think that captures the look I was going for exactly how I wanted, so I'm really happy with this. All right, I'm just going to transform him into his Battleroid mode. He can do, well, I guess I'm obligated to do like a Airwalk mode. So first thing I would do is rotate these ball joints on the hips around, and just to give him his backwards knees. And then I'm probably going to have to redo these feet to make it more like the original figure. All right, so I guess his legs are basically in position, and then we can go ahead and fold up his tail fins. And then this just uses the original transformation joint to kind of fold that along the back. And then getting his arms out, I'm going to go ahead and move his legs out of the way. So this is going to be kind of a whole thing. So the arms, I had to resort to like a really interesting system for his arms. You can see they're on like these struts that attach to his backpack up here, and that gives enough clearance for his head to be back here. But we're going to ignore that for now. We're just going to use these struts and get the arms in place. And then we're just going to rotate the arms down. And get those basically in position. And you get the basic idea. I'm going to go ahead and clean him up. Okay, and there's, his ankles are a little bit loose, but there's his Airwalk mode, I guess. I don't know if this really captures the spirit of it. That's about the best I can do. Yeah, it looks stupid. I never liked Airwalk modes. I think this is pointless, but he can technically do it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into something more dignified. So getting him transformed into robot mode is easy. You go ahead and just rotate these legs just like the original Bandai figure. And then they're going to clip into the fuselage right there. And then just straighten out the legs. Go ahead and rotate these back around into the correct position. And then clip these into the ball joints somehow. Okay, there we go. Those are nice. So that helps just secure everything because we don't want his hips moving around. So there we go, his whole lower body, and now the difficult part is his upper body. And you can see his head is integrated into the transformation. It's been inside there the whole time. You probably saw it in jet mode peeking out. but we're going to, this is kind of confusing because there's these struts here, so we're going to basically just finesse everything around, and then his head's going to end up tilting back all the way, and that's fine. That's what you want to happen. And then he has barely enough clearance to get these antennae clear. Like, making a transformation that lets him keep his mask on is very difficult. But anyway, you can see these struts are here, and then we're just going to get this in a backpack position. We can go ahead and close up his wings now that his head's not in the way. And then we're going to use these joints here in his body and just spread out his arms. And that kind of gets the backpack sort of into position. I think having the backpack down is the best spot, but it can be like straight out, but then you have this huge gap. And then it could be raised up too, but it still has that gap. So I like to have the backpack just be as down as much as possible. And then we just rotate his arms down. And then I haven't secured this chest yet. I was deciding if I want it to be in this position, and it seems like it's working in both modes. And I don't have to deal with his stupid chest like sliding back and forth. So I think I'm going to do that just to keep his transformation a little more simple. But he's all skewed because this chest is crooked. So just straighten up these ball joints a little bit, and then you get a pretty convincing looking Batteroid mode. All right, and there's a 360 view of this guy, and I think he looks pretty good. His backpack, of course, has got a lot of ugliness to it, but that's just the way it is. It was very hard coming up with this transformation. I worked on this guy for 2 days, and it took me forever just to figure out how to get this thing to work. Especially the backpack was probably the biggest pain out of everything. The shoulder joints were also a huge pain, getting his arms into the correct position. But I think it paid off. I think he looks a lot like a Macross figure, which is what I was going for. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how this guy turned out. And then his torso doesn't cheat anymore. He uses the actual cockpit. So yeah, really pleased with this. And then one thing I haven't implemented yet is his fast pack. I would have to lower this backpack, and then it would just basically go right there. And I think that would be a pretty fine compromise. That would end up looking pretty good, just because this doesn't fold in very flush because these tail fins are pretty thick. All right, and here's a size comparison. You can see that he is a very old school, large leader class size. And then we'll just go ahead and get all his bits off of him, just give him a more vanilla, standard Batteroid look. There you go, and it would be nice if he had a gun pod instead of this kind of rifle, but yeah, I think he turned out very nicely. He's nice and clean. He's, of course, full of ball joints, so he's got some good articulation here and there, and of course these ball joints here are very ugly. I might redo these sections just to make them a little bit smaller, and it would be nice if he had vents here to cover these up, because they are very visible in his jet mode. But some new articulation he has is he has a ball joint at the base of his neck. I don't know why his whole chest is moving. That should be more like in this position there. And then because I put that ball joint in, I got to choose where the joint was. So I put it in the middle of his neck, unlike the front of his neck, like Hasbro originally had it for some reason. And then he does have like his ball joint shoulders. So all the original articulation's still there. He can still do all full outward too. So he just got like kind of a butterfly here, but his chest plate gets in the way. And then he's got these ball joints here. These are just for transformation. Those aren't really usable. So he can do like a mostly full forward kick. He's got some side spread, because I had to redo these joints because there's no crotch here holding it in place anymore. And then yeah, he's got thigh rotation on these basically. So yeah, some things I do want to work on is I would like to make this backpack a little bit nicer, especially this part if possible, because it does look very saggy, which I'm not really into. And then I do want to give him those original feet that kind of like pincer together to make his thrusters. And then he'll just have to have a hollow calf. But yeah, I think this guy turned out really well. I got him in the mail like 2 days ago, and then I just worked on him nonstop. And it was very painful. I wouldn't recommend making this custom, but I think he looks awesome. So I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think.